Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! I guess I should start from the beginning. I'm a pretty average guy working a decent job in IT. I was married for about 5 years to a woman I thought was the love of my life. We had 2 kids together, but things started falling apart not long after our second was born. We tried counseling, we tried taking time apart, but in the end we just couldn't make it work. The divorce was messy, but we eventually settled on joint custody. I agreed to let her and the kids stay in the house we bought together. It seemed like the right thing to do at the time. I didn't want to uproot the children from their home and school. I moved into a small apartment nearby so I could still be close to the kids. It wasn't easy, but I was managing. My ex-wife remarried about a year after our divorce to a guy named Tom. He seemed okay and the kids liked him, so I tried to be civil for everyone's sake. That's where things stood when my Nan decided to start giving money to her children. My mom, being the generous person she is, decided to split her share with me and my brother. When she told me about the £1,000 gift, I was thrilled. I had been wanting to do some repairs and upgrades to the house for a while, but money had been tight since the divorce. I called my ex-wife to tell her about the money in my plans, and that's when things started to go downhill. Hey, I've got some good news. My Nan gave my mom some money and mom's sharing it with me and my brother. I was thinking we could use my £1,000 to do some of those repairs and upgrades we've been talking about for the house. Really? That's great. We've been wanting to repaint the living room and fix up the bathroom for ages. Exactly, I figured I could buy the materials and any tools we need, and you and Tom could do the work. How does that sound? Sounds perfect. When can we start? I should have known it was too good to be true. At first, everything seemed fine. I spent about £500 on paint, wallpaper, flooring, and other materials. Then there were smaller purchases. Screws, fixings, new electrical sockets, and so on. I even had to buy a new multimeter when mine died. Before I knew it, I was down to my last £220. The work was progressing and for a while there were no requests for money. I thought maybe we were done, so I decided to treat myself a little. I bought some new clothes, a few books I've been wanting to read, and treated myself to a nice dinner out. It felt good to splurge a little after being so careful with money for so long. Of course, that's when my ex decided she needed more materials. Hey, we need to buy some flagstones for the new patio. Can you transfer me the money? Oh, actually, all the money's gone. What do you mean it's gone? How could you have spent all of it? Where did it go? Well, I spent most of it on the materials we've already used. The rest, I used them myself. You what? How dare you? That was supposed to be for the house. I want to see the receipts for everything you bought. You promised this money was for the house. Look, I spent £800 on the house. That's more than fair. The rest was mine to do with as I pleased. No, it wasn't. We had an agreement. You owe me £200 and I'm going to get it back. From that point on, it was like living in a nightmare. Almost every day, I'd get a text asking when I was going to transfer the money. The day before payday, without fail, I'd get a reminder that I owed her £200. Every time I dropped off or picked up the kids, she'd bring it up. Don't forget, you still owe us that £200. I don't owe you anything. That was my money. We had an agreement. You can't just back out of it. This went on for about 6 months before it started to taper off. The daily texts became weekly, then monthly. After about a year, I thought maybe she'd finally let it go. I should have known better. About a year and a half after the whole thing started, my ex-wife decided to hold a barbecue. She invited me, probably to keep up appearances in front of the kids, and I went, thinking maybe we could finally put this all behind us. When I arrived, her parents, siblings, and a couple of her friends were there. At first, everything seemed fine. We were all being civil, making small talk. Then someone mentioned how nice the garden looked. Yeah, but it's not finished, as he still owes us £200 from over a year ago. We're relying on that to finish things off, Tom says. He's not even done any of the work. I could feel everyone's eyes on me, judging me. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my cool, but I'd had enough. It was time to set the record straight. I owe you £200, do I? £200 out of that £1,000? Out of that £1,000 that my mother gave me? Listen to yourself for a moment, please. I was gifted £1,000 and decided to help you. I spent £800 on this house that you live in, and now you want more? You're either greedy, entitled, or delusional. The silence that followed was deafening. I could see the shock on everyone's faces. My ex-wife's mouth was hanging open, and Tom looked like he'd been slapped. Ex-wife's mother says, "Is that true? Did your mother give you that money?" "Yes. It was a gift from my aunt to my mom, who then shared it with me and my brother. I chose to use most of it on the house, even though I don't live here anymore." Ex-wife's sister, "And you spent £800 on a house? That's actually really generous." Tom started saying, But we did all the work on a house that you're living in. Rent-free, I might add. A house that I'm still paying half the mortgage on, despite not living here. And now you're trying to shame me in front of everyone for not giving you even more? I could see the realization dawning on everyone's faces. My ex-wife was turning red. "But you promised." "I promised to help you with the house repairs," which I did. "I never promised you every penny of that money. It was a gift to me, not to you." Ex-wife's father, "I think there has been a misunderstanding here. Maybe we should all calm down and..." "No, I'm done. I've been calm for a year and a half while she's been harassing me for money that was never hers. I'm not going to stand here and be insulted and shamed anymore." I put down my drink and turned to leave. As I was walking away, I heard my ex's best friend mutter, "Wow, I can't believe you've been hounding him for money his mom gave him. That's low." I didn't stick around to hear the rest, but I can imagine it wasn't pleasant for my ex-wife. Since that day, she hasn't mentioned that money once. In fact, she's been oddly polite during our interactions. I guess sometimes you have to stand up for yourself to get people to back off. It's not always easy, especially when it involves family and co-parenting, but it's necessary. I may have lost £1,000, but I gained something much more valuable: self-respect and peace of mind. I've been in the army for 12 years now. Joined right out of high school, wanting to serve my country and see the world. It's been a wild ride full of ups and downs. I've made great friends, lost some too, seen things I'll never forget, both good and bad. This last deployment was tough. We lost 2 guys from our unit. I came back feeling drained, looking forward to some peace and quiet in my own home. The house I'd worked so hard to buy and maintain between deployments. As I pulled up to my driveway, something felt off. There were toys scattered across the front yard, clothes hanging on a makeshift clothesline, a beat-up minivan parked where my truck should have been. I got out of my car confused. Maybe I had the wrong house? But no, this was definitely mine. The red door I painted myself, the flower beds I planted for my mom when she visited. As I approached the front door, it swung open. A woman I'd never seen before stood there looking annoyed. "What do you want?" "Excuse me, ma'am, but this is my house. Who are you and why are you here?" "Your house? This is my home. I live here with my kids. Now get off my property before I call the cops." I was stunned. Was this some kind of joke? Man, there must be some misunderstanding. I'm Staff Sergeant James Miller. I've owned this house for 5 years. I just got back from deployment and... "I don't care who you are and where you've been. This is my house now. I've been living here for a month, and now you leave before things get ugly." I could feel my temper rising, but I tried to stay calm. "Look, I don't know how you got in here or why you think this is your house, but I can prove it's mine." "You're not setting foot in my house, and good luck finding any documents that were in there. Now get lost before I sick my dog on you." She slammed the door in my face. I stood there shell-shocked. What the hell was going on? I thought about calling the cops right then and there, but without proof of ownership on hand, I knew it might not go anywhere. This woman, this Karen, had clearly been living there for a while. It would be her word against mine. Fortunately, I had a backup plan. See, over the years I'd seen too many of my military buddies come home to find their houses broken into, valuable stuff stolen. So I got into the habit of storing all my important documents and valuables in a storage unit across town, especially when I'm going away for a long time. I hid it there immediately. How had this happened? How long had she been there? What kind of shape was my house in? At the storage unit, I grabbed everything I needed. Deed, mortgage papers, tax records, family photos, everything that proved the house was mine. Then I went straight to the police station. The desk sergeant looked skeptical at first, but as I laid out my story and evidence, he started to take me seriously. They took my statement and said they'd send some officers to check it out. I insisted on going with them. No way was I letting this woman slip away if things went south. When we pulled up to my house, Karen was waiting on a porch looking smug, but her face fell when she saw me step out of the police car. "Ma'am, we need to talk to you about your residency here." "What's there to talk about? This is my home. I've told this man to leave me alone." "Ma'am, can you provide any documentation showing you have a legal right to be here?" I don't need to show you anything. I know my rights." "Ma'am, was that proof that you're legally renting or own this property, you're going to have to leave. This gentleman has provided clear evidence of ownership." "You can't do this to me. I have children. Where are we supposed to go?" "I'm sorry, but you're trespassing. We can provide information on shelters and social services if you need." "This is ridiculous. You're all against me." She stormed inside, slamming the door. The officers sighed. "Sir, we're going to have to formally evict her now. It might take a few hours. You're welcome to wait here or come back later." I wasn't going anywhere. I stood by and watched as they went through the eviction process. Karen screamed, cried, and threatened the whole time. At one point, she got right in my face. "You'll regret this. I know people. You think you can just waltz in here and take my home? You haven't seen the last of me." The officers pulled her back, warning her about making threats, but they didn't arrest her, just told her to calm down. I couldn't believe it. After everything she'd done, she was just going to walk away? Finally, after what felt like forever, Karen and her kids were gone. The officers gave me some paperwork and left. I was alone in my house at last. But it didn't feel like home anymore. The place was trashed, stains everywhere, weird smells, broken furniture. It was going to take a lot of work to make it livable again. I spent the next week cleaning, repairing, and trying to get my life back in order. Had to hire a professional cleaning company to deal with the worst of it. Cost me a small fortune, but it was worth it to feel like the place was mine again. I thought that was the end of it. Wow, I couldn't have been more off. About a week after the eviction, I was sitting on my front porch enjoying a quiet evening, and suddenly I heard gunshots. Close. Too close. Training kicked in. I ducked, ran inside, grabbed my personal firearm, locked doors, and took cover by a window. And that's when I saw them. 3 figures creeping across my lawn, all armed. One was Karen. "Remember, we go in fast, catch him by surprise, and make him pay." A male voice says, "What if he's armed?" "Don't be stupid. He's probably some paper pusher. He won't know what hit him." They had no idea who they were dealing with. If I shot them dead tonight, it wouldn't be the first time I've taken a life. I took aim and started firing, caught them completely off guard. One guy went down immediately. Karen and the other guy tried to run, but I managed to hit Karen. I later knew that my bullet landed in her left butt cheek. She fell screaming. Then sirens blared in the distance. Within minutes, the place was crawling with cops and paramedics. They arrested Karen and her wounded body on the spot. The third guy didn't get far. They caught him a few miles away. As they loaded Karen into the ambulance, she was still yelling, "This isn't over. You'll pay for this." "Ma'am, you're under arrest for attempted murder, breaking and entering, and a whole list of other charges. I suggest you stay quiet." I gave my statement to the police. They were impressed with how I'd handled the situation, that I probably saved my own life. In the end, Karen and her accomplices all got hefty prison sentences. Karen, as a ringleader, and given her history of similar offenses, received the harshest sentence. The judge gave her 15 years for attempted murder, plus additional time for breaking and entering, criminal trespassing, and illegal possession of a firearm. Her total sentence came to 25 years in state prison. The man who was shot and apprehended at the scene got 12 years. The sentence was slightly less because he had no prior convictions and agreed to testify against Karen. The third accomplice, who fled but was caught later, received 10 years. He got the lightest sentence of the 3 because he wasn't directly involved in the shooting and also agreed to cooperate with the prosecution. All 3 were also ordered to pay restitution for the damage they caused to my property during their initial squatting and the later attack. As for me, I'm still dealing with the aftermath. Installed a top-notch security system, thinking about moving to be honest, but mostly I'm just grateful to be alive and have my home back. It's a hell of a thing, coming back from war only to find a different kind of battle waiting at home. but I survived both. And now finally, I can start to relax and enjoy the peace I fought so hard for. I've been living in this apartment complex in Florida for the past 3 years. It's been okay, I guess, but nothing special. The weather's nice, but that's about it. A few months ago, I got an amazing job offer from a tech company in California. It was a no-brainer, better pay, better benefits, and a chance to work on some cutting-edge projects. I jumped at the opportunity and started planning my move. Now, let me tell you, moving across the country is no joke. There's so much to do, finding a new place to live, arranging movers, sorting through all my stuff, and tying up loose ends here in Florida. It's been a whirlwind, and I've been stressed out of my mind. In all this chaos, I completely forgot about my car registration. It just slipped my mind, you know? I mean, who thinks about that when you're trying to uproot your entire life? Anyway, I realized my mistake a few days ago and immediately went online to renew my registration. It was pretty straightforward and I got it done in no time. The only problem was that they had to mail me the actual sticker for my license plate, which could take weeks to arrive. I thought, no big deal, right? The car is legally registered with the state now. I am good to go. Oh, how wrong I was. This morning I woke up to a nasty surprise. There was a notice on my door from the Homeowners Association, and it read, "Your vehicle's registration is expired. You have 48 hours to display a valid registration sticker or your vehicle will be towed at your expense." I couldn't believe it. I mean, seriously? I just renewed my registration. I decided to go talk to the HOA office and explain the situation. Big mistake. I walked into the office and there she was, the HOA president. Let's call her Karen because that's exactly what she was. I tried to explain my situation calmly. "Hi, I got this notice about my car registration. I just wanted to let you know that I renewed it online, but the sticker hasn't arrived yet." Karen looking at me like I'm some kind of idiot. "Well, where is your proof?" "I have the confirmation email on my phone. I can show you that." Karen shaking her head. "That's not good enough. We need to see the sticker on your car." "But the car is legally registered. The sticker just hasn't arrived in the mail yet." Karen sighing dramatically. "Look, rules are rules. We need to see that sticker. Otherwise, how do we know you're not lying?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I tried to reason with her, but it was like talking to a brick wall. "This doesn't make any sense. The car is registered. I've done everything right. Can't you make an exception until the sticker arrives?" Karen smirking. "Exceptions lead to chaos. If we make an exception for you, we'd have to do it for everyone. You have 48 hours to display that sticker, or your car will be towed." I was fuming at this point. I couldn't believe the pettiness of it all. I tell her, "So let me get this straight. You're going to tow my legally registered car because of a sticker that hasn't arrived yet? Or you won't do anything about the neighbors upstairs who stomp around at 1 a.m. every night?" Karen looking offended. "That's a completely different issue. We haven't received any formal complaints about noise." "Are you kidding me? I've complained multiple times." Karen dismissively. "Well, noise complaints are hard to verify. Car registration is clear-cut. No sticker, no parking." I left the office feeling defeated and angry. I couldn't believe the hypocrisy and inflexibility of it all. I spent the rest of the day trying to figure out what to do. I called the DMV, but they couldn't expedite the sticker. I even looked into getting a temporary permit, but that would take just as long. As I sat in my apartment listening to the upstairs neighbors stomping around again, I had an idea. I grabbed my phone and started recording the noise. Then I went down to my car and started recording a video of my license plate, zooming in on where the sticker would go. The next morning I marched back into the HOA office, phone in hand. "Good morning, Karen. I have something to show you." Karen looking annoyed. "What is it now?" I played the video of the noise from upstairs, then immediately switched to the video of my car. "So you can't do anything about this noise? That's clearly violating quiet hours, but you're going to tow my car because of this tiny sticker that's on its way in the mail?" Karen flustered. That's different. We need visual proof for parking violations." "Oh, visual proof?" I pulled up the DMV website on my phone and logged into my account. Here is a visual proof that my car is registered. It's right here in the state database. Are you saying you know better than the DMV? Karen stammering. "Well, we have our rules." You know what? I've had enough. I'm moving out of this place in 2 weeks anyway. But before I go, I'm going to file a formal complaint about your selective enforcement of rules. I'm sure the other homeowners would love to know how their HOA fees are being spent on towing legally registered vehicles instead of addressing real issues. Karen's face turned pale. She knew I had her cornered. She says nervously, Now, let's not be hasty. Perhaps we can work something out." I tell her, "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to cancel that towing notice, and you're going to address the noise complaint. And if I hear one more word about my car before that sticker arrives, I'll make sure every homeowner in this complex knows about your little power trip." Karen reluctantly agreed. In just 2 weeks, I'll be leaving this place behind for good. No more entitled HOAs, no more Florida craziness. California, here I come. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.